Well, we've been hearing a lot over the last couple of weeks about Marvel's Secret Wars and the potential for it to be a full-on reboot of the MCU. I thought we could take a couple minutes to dive into everything Secret Wars, the comic book events, how this pinnacle event in Marvel history could impact the MCU, and exactly where Marvel is going, but more importantly, why. Well, as many of you know, the current multiverse storyline in the MCU is scheduled to culminate with Secret Wars in 2027. Now, Secret Wars is a long ways off, but I think Marvel has a lot of plans for post-Secret Wars, and this pinnacle event will lay the framework for everything. Now, the big question for lots of fans is, will this Secret Wars event in the MCU be a full-on reboot for Marvel Studios? And I don't think that's a yes or no question. I think it's it's complex. Now, there's no doubt that Secret Wars in the comics altered worlds, and I do believe it will indeed be a blueprint for the MCU reboot, but we have to ask the questions of what kind of reboot this will actually be. Many people are wondering if Marvel will give us a full-on hard reboot, a complete recreation of the world, and I have to say, I find that very unlikely. First and foremost, there is so much established history that Kevin Feige and team have direct hands in, and I do not think they will simply discard that and just move forward. There are seeds for multiple storylines that have been put in place that are unlikely to resolve themselves by Secret Wars, so I think this definitely inhibits a hard reboot. There's also the fact that many of the actors have signed recent contracts and basically have plenty left in the tank. There's a whole new crop of Marvel actors and actresses that have come to the big and small screen over the last couple of years, and some of them have been met with a ton of fan acclaim. I don't think Marvel Studios is going to walk away from all of that work, so whatever kind of reboot they do, it's definitely going to have to leverage returning and familiar faces in a way that helps move the brand forward. There's also the simple fact that a full-on hard reboot would be confusing as hell for fans. Remember, not everybody is a comic book fan like all of us, and I think the general audience would react very negatively to a full-on hard reboot of the MCU where they walked into a new film completely unsure of what's going on. Now, the things that do work for a possible reboot are a soft reboot. A soft reboot is a reworking of the universe and altering of reality, but keeping a lot of familiar faces and familiar elements. This allows Marvel Studios to lean on what's been working and keep all the established work they've done in phases 4, 5, and 6 while calling back to the first 3 phases and maybe even seeing returning characters even if they're played by different actors and actresses. Quite honestly, I believe the prologue for Secret Wars will likely tease dead or lost characters like Steve Rogers or Iron Man or Black Widow, seeing them return to this newly established MCU world, but not revealing who possibly will be playing the characters. Yes, this means I believe should the MCU do any kind of reboot, they're likely to recast some characters, and at the top of that list will likely be Iron Man and Captain America. Now, all of this really does work interestingly when we start considering the Fox universe. As many of you have noticed over Phase 4, Fox characters have started showing up in various places. The first time this happened was Multiverse of Madness, but it's super clear to many people that Deadpool 3 is going to be a massive influx of those classic Fox Marvel Universe characters from their movies over the last decade or so. Now, there have been ongoing rumors that there were strange contractual obligations when it came to the X-Men, and that's part of the reason we haven't seen Marvel do the X-Men. Now, my understanding is, based on unconfirmed rumors, is that Marvel is contractually obligated to keep some of the actors and actresses as they are associated for the X-Men until a certain point in the near future. I've read in several places that could be 2026 or 2027, aligning it very nicely with Secret Wars. It's been long rumored that Marvel will carry some of these Fox characters into Secret Wars, and I actually think we can look to the comics to try to get an idea of what's going on. More than likely, Marvel will look to the 2015 event, which saw various elements of the 1610 Marvel Universe, the Ultimate Universe, get combined into the 616, or the classic comic universe. I think this is exactly what's going to happen post-Secret Wars. Now, I do believe almost all of these Fox Universe characters will be recast, but the day before and the day after effect will be that the Marvel Universe will have combined both of these worlds into a new world with a slightly altered history, but a place for all of these characters to exist. Now, we've already been teased with multi-universes in No Way Home, and seeing how variants of various characters can work together, the Sony universe really does create lots of questions for Secret Wars, but I'm absolutely sure they will want to be on this bandwagon and be part of the larger project. Obviously, Marvel has big plans for Secret Wars, and it will definitely be used as an element to reset the universe, if not fully reboot it, in a way that allows them to tell new stories moving forward without any previous obligation to what's happened in the past. This is what comics do all the time. DC Comics has done it multiple times, and it allows you to retell some classic stories, bring back classic characters, and move in a brand new direction without any of the weight of the previous installments. I don't think we'll know until Secret Wars comes out exactly what they're going to do, and I'm sure there are going to be tons of surprises. There's lots of shakeups behind the scenes with new writers and the new potential rumors of the Russo brothers returning to direct this movie, so I think we have a lot to be excited for and a bright future for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.